Hello guys, welcome back to Cassette Confessions. Today we're looking at Thomas and Stepney and other stories from 1995. This is definitive. This is top 5 material, this is. So this is the definitive VHS for Series 4. As always, when doing the Thomas and Friends videos, I depend which one's my personal favourite, of course, from each of the seasons, of course. So for Series 1, it's Cold and Other Stories. For Series 2, it's The Deputation and Other Stories. Series 3 is Escape and Other Stories. Sense their pattern here, if you know what I mean. Sort of, yeah. And then we come to this one, Thomas and Stepney. Basically, because it was the only Series 4 VHS tape I owned, actually. I didn't own Rock and Roll until a couple of years later. Same with Story and Song Collection. So this will have to do, and it's the only one, basically, for that one. 9 stories to go through, and we'll brush through this quickly, I think. Even though it's great VHS, there's not much to say, to be honest. Of course, maybe some few good episodes. So first up we got is a promo. The last video collection logo before, they had to revamp themselves in the autumn. And to be honest, it's not the best promo it's not the best promo I've seen, actually. There were better ones previously and afterwards. There is. So basically, this is it's a bit of a rehash of another one that came out the year before in 1994, which is pretty good actually. And I don't know how they managed to fit 11 shows in under 3 minutes. Well, it's a miracle. Very good, very quick and witty, and just it's like a very interesting palette, if you know what I mean. This one, it sort of rehashes some of the stuff, like the narration. It is it sort of rehashes bits of it. The only sort of new thing, of course, is Magical Adventures of Mumphy, which is the opening story, the opening show for it, and basically. I just don't know. It doesn't hold a candle for me, unfortunately, but it is just there, really. It's a bit of a shame that they didn't like something like that. Something like 94. They should have improved that, or maybe just include it on the 95 VHS releases. But sadly not, unfortunately. There is some interesting little bits and pieces, of course, of that, introduction to my sort of introduction to Mumphy, which I forgot to mention in my Path of Nostalgia video about the show, the American version of the show Bill Croft did. And we've also got an interesting bit, so that's the promotional snippet for The Wind in the Willows, even though it's promoting A Tale of Two Toads, and has the Oh Mr. Toad, music over it. It does include a title card, of course, which was only used, it was used in the 94 promo, just briefly. Same with also the children's preschool compilation from 1994, and that was used. So it's basically used a compilation in the promos. This promo and the previous one, of course. So it's a bit of an interesting thing to point out with that one. Anyway. Let's go for the stories. So 9 stories to go through Series 4. Let's go through this now. So You Can't Win. Brilliant story. The second story involving Duke the Lost Engine I've seen, or the televised version. I do own the book, of course, Duke the Lost Engine, for many years. So I didn't see Sleeping Beauty and Bulldog until later on when I got Rock and Roll, or other way around, really. What else? Just a very good story, really. I just remember it fondly, and yeah, pretty good. Nice way to open the album. Then you got Steamroller, fantastic story, really good story. This one is, introduces George Steamroller, that great sort of it's sort of like that sort of race scene between him and Sandal, really good. And some great humour in there as well, actually. I think when they cause the accident, of course, and that sort of thing. It is quite funny, it is. It's like, I saw like Clueless George. Probably thinks he hasn't done nothing wrong, of course, even though he had, of course. But it's a really good one, that is. Fantastic. It's a great bit of a highlight of that one. In terms of like the Scarlorry Railway episodes, the narrow gauge ones, it's a great one, fantastic one. Along with stuff like Special Funnel and let me think. probably Grand Puff as well, and Home at Last, of course. You know, they're solving actually well the great ones they are. That's good. Passengers of Polish, another good one. Very Duncan-centric episode, another good one. Risk the Rescue. Now this is actually a story that was written by Bid Alcoff and David Mitton. The only story that was not a adaptation of the Audrey stories. So yes. So it's pretty interesting. I know the Reverend Wilbur Audrey sort of disliked it a bit, of course, because it introduces us to Stepney. It is good, it is. You know, it's a very interesting episode. Of course, you know, Rusty heading to, you know, another part of the island to find any other engines. You know, inspired by Douglas's tale. And they save Oliver and Toad. So fair enough. So it's meant to be like Escape 2, I think. Sort of. Yeah, Escape 2 really. Then we've got Thomas and Stepney, another great one that is. Very interesting it is, you know, like we're sort of getting to the sort of mainline engines type stories we are. And yes, just another good one really. I just find it, I don't know, I just find it enjoyable, I do. What else we got next? Paint Pots and Queens. Now this was on the previous one, Thomas's Train and the 17 Other Stories, which I never mentioned. Fantastic story because it was included, but I had to sort of include it on this one. You know, because it's, you know, 9 episodes, you have to fill out, you know. I only talked about the 7 stories that I was sort of maybe semi-exclusive to the VHS that I saw, you know, Thomas's Train and the 17 Other Stories. But, you know, I had to include one. Fantastic one, interesting. It should be like something like a series finale type story. Very much, but it's just there really, to be honest. You know, it has its sort of grandiose type thing of like, should it just be end of the series or something? It's like, it's just end. It's over there, but it's all like towards the end. It's, you know, sort of the latter half really. So fair enough. It does imply continuity of stuff like off the rails and down the line, which is a bit, you know, it's like, do we need to recap, of course, or something, you know, but. I mean, Alcoff and Mitton tried to be faithful to the source material after series 3 to complaints with the Reverend. So, yes, probably. You know, just to reinstate the source material out of it, bits and pieces. It's like fan service in a type of way, you know, just to recap what's going on, of course, even though it's meant to be happening on the same day. It's a bit bizarre, really. Yes. Toad Stands By is the next one. That's a really good one. Another Oliver-centric episode, which you don't have much, really, you know, in terms of the classic era of the show. So, but it's a good one, it is. You know, introduces Scruffy, painful demise, of course. Well, not really. Sort of a torturous end to his reign, of course. So, of course, in chaos, being ripped to shreds, of course. Even though in the original book, he was ripped apart, ripped to absolute pieces, and never been able to be built again. So, if you've ever read the original book of it, from Oliver the Western Engine, book number 24. Yes, that is basically just it's leaving him in a pile, just like a pile of rubble, really, as a pile of rubble. So, but in the end, they just basically rebuilt him. He's just there, really. But good episode. And then we've got Fish. Another good one. This is, again, a lot of good stories. This was included on the Thomas the Train as well, 17 Other Stories, based on a story by Christopher Audrey, which came from the Releaseful Engines book from the early 80s. But it's a good one, another Flying Kipper episode, and yeah, just another decent one it is. And then finally, we have Special Attraction, another Christopher Audrey adaptation, basically 2 stories gelled together, taken from a book called Toby Trucks in Trouble from the late 80s at that point. Again, another good one actually. It was included on a compilation Children's Preschool Favourites from 1995. And it was included on Thomas's Train and 17 Other Stories as well. So it's another good one. I really like Special Attraction. I think it's a nice way to end off. It is as a closer. It all works. It does. I mean, with the compilation and this one, it just works nicely. It does. So that's really about it, really, with Thomas and Stepney and 17 Other Stories. Great VHS, the only one from Series 4 our own, but it's stand out. It's fantastic. It's top 5 in there. I don't know about ranking these. I can't be bothered to rank them, of course, but it is good. Really good. In terms of series, I don't know. I'll get there eventually. But it's good. Again, it's a great VHS. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. As always, see you for the next video, and goodbye.